Hello everybody and welcome to Knife Delights, and this is another 3 for Thursday. This is an open tag that was created by Patty at Patty's Potato Peelers. Hey Patty, thank you so much for starting this open tag. It's a lot of fun. It just so happens that Buck produced 3 different sizes of Stockmans, and I thought I'd go over them again. It gets complicated. Keep trying to do my research on these, but there's a lot of little changes, a lot of little minutia. So this is another attempt to kind of show you 3 different Stockman patterns that was produced by Buck and some of the differences and the changes that they made throughout the years. What we have here is the 307 Wrangler, and it's a large or jumbo Stockman. And then we have the regular size, normal size Stockman. This is the 301. And then this is a kind of a medium Stockman, and they named this the Cadet, and it's the 303. So I have kind of 3 different eras of manufacture here. The 307, it was introduced in around 1971 or 72. And in the 1972 catalog, this knife went for $18. The 301 here was made in 2017, so fairly recent. And the Cadet was manufactured in 1995. So what makes this all so complicated? Well, when Buck first introduced or got into the slip joint and pocket knife manufacturing, they actually contracted first with prior to Camillus, Schrade, yeah. So in the late 60s or so, for 2 or 3 years, Schrade manufactured their slip joint knives or pocket knives. Then the contract switched to Camillus, and some of their pocket knife models were always made by Camillus, such as this Wrangler. This Wrangler, even though it was produced until, well, what was it? Sometime in the 90s, this model was never assembled at the Buck factory. It was always done by Camillus. Some of these others started out with Schrade, and then Camillus, and then Buck started doing it themselves. So there's a lot of different variations here, and it's hard to keep track of. But one reason I know that this was made by Camillus is, or one of the changes or differences, is you see that long nail pull. And that's a very good indication that it was made by Camillus, because Buck switched to the little half moon nail nick there, as you can see. There's a little difference in the tang stamps. As you can see, this one has no date code on it. I believe this one was made between, what was it, 1972 and 1986, because in 86 they started putting the date codes on them. And I don't think it's a 71 or 72. What did I say? 74 to 86. Because in the 71 or 72 one model, I think they had pins in the covers. See where I'm going? This gets kind of complicated to keep it all straight. But clear indication here is the nail nick. Another difference in the older models is you'll see here the sheep's foot blade. On the older one, it folds out in the same direction, in the same end as the main blade. And you will see on these, the sheep, did I call that the sheep's foot blade? And on the newer ones, the sheepfoot's blade folds out the opposite end, as you can see. Another change is, get these folded up and make them safe again without cutting myself. These here, made by Camillus, had the brass liners. And there's only 2 springs. So 2 of the blades shared a spring. Now, where did I put my little pointer? I wanted to call your attention to the fact, if you can see, when they just had the two springs, that bottom liner next to the main blade, see how thick that is? They made that liner extra thick to strengthen it there when you're using your main blade. Later models, Buck innovated. Again, they switched the sheep's foot to an opposite. And they have steel springs and liners, and there's actually 3 springs. So each blade has its own spring. And as I've explained before, the most used blade on the Stockman they thought was the sheep's foot. And so they moved it so that it's right in the middle, and it's got all this metal on both sides to give it a nice firm use there. Get this to focus here a little better. And of course, there's their original logo. And another difference is, get this back out, you can see different grinds. That's more of a flat grind there. And this is more of a hollow grind. And this one being earlier, this is still when Buck was doing a flat grind still, back in 1995. Other little differences you can look at, and it's hard to tell the difference on this one, but so this is Buck's version of the spade blade. And that's the Camillus version of a spade blade. So we'll just kind of compare the two. And you can see the difference in the shape of the spade blade, and you can also see the difference in the grind. So there's lots of little differences between these knives, and it's fun to try to research these, and that's been my goal, to collect as many of these as I can throughout the years, so I can not just read about the differences, but actually see the differences. It's awful hard to keep track of, I'll tell you. It's kind of mind-boggling. I've read some of these papers over and over and over, trying to, figure out exactly what they're talking about. But when you have them in hand and you start studying them, you see all these little different variations. So for me, it's not just the knife, it's the history of the knife and how the knife has changed over the years, and not just with Buck knives, but with all of the knives. Well, I certainly hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you check out all the other channels and their 3 for Thursday videos. It's a very fun open tag, as I said. And I'll throw this in here too every now and then. I'd like to remind everybody, if you'd like to receive a Knife Delights channel sticker, why please just send me an email at knifedelights@gmail.com. Send me your name and address, and I'd be more than happy to get you a sticker in the mail. So until next time, have a very delightful day.